this is a fairly volatile situation, and it is in response not to United States policy, not to, obviously, the administration, not to the American people. It is in response to a video, a film, that we have judged to be reprehensible and disgusting, that in no way justifies any violent reaction to it. But this is not a case of protests directed at the United States writ large or at U.S. policy. This is in response to a video that is offensive and to Muslims.
The widespread and violent protests breaking out across the Arab world this week. As the violence rages, many are asking what the real motivation is behind all of this, behind this extremist behavior. We bring in Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. He, too, is a Muslim. He's also the founder and president of the American Islamic Forum Democracy. He's the author of A Battle for the Soul of Islam, and he is a physician and a good man. Zuhdi, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Tucker. It's nice to be with you.
You must have seen Jay Carney's press conference in which he assured America that all of this is a reaction to this YouTube clip. Do you buy that?
Oh, Tucker, I'm just shocked. And, as a former Navy officer, I look at what our country stands for and what Muslims that came here came to escape. And I look at this, and our commander-in-chief, who should be leading the world in advancing liberty, advancing freedom, has turned into a film critic-in-chief. I mean, this is exactly what the Islamists want. And by the way, I'd be curious to see what the critique of Religulous from Bill Maher, his biggest donor, which was also very anti-religious. But anyway, back to the Islamists. The Islamists want us to focus on these types of things because they say they want us out of there. They critique and get mad about a film. And at the end of the day, once we're out of there, they can then advance their theocratic ideas into Egypt, into Syria, and elsewhere. And if you look, the Middle East has been torn, as you said earlier, between a fascism, two fascisms, secular dictatorship and theocratic fascism. And they use each other, and they use us, they play us for fools, no different than Pravda did in the Cold War. And we buy into it, and we condemn violence instead of advancing the ideas of freedom and the fact that our society is not based on critiquing free speech or critiquing just violence, is advancing liberty. And that's what so many Muslims, remember, Tucker, 98% of Muslims are not on the streets now. This is not the Arab Spring. These are just a bunch of Salafists who want to control the society and take advantage of what's happening. So they do not represent, in your view, a cross-section of Libyan or Egyptian society? No, as Fox has reported, the people on the street now are not the same. They're poor, they're the Salafists, the radicals, the fundamentalists. They're the ones who know how to stoke the heartstrings of the West and get us all afraid and isolationist, get us defensive, so that they can then take over. And what's weird, Tucker, is that this is so eerily similar to '79, when the weakness of President Carter allowed the Islamic transition, the revolution of Iran, to turn into even a worse theocracy, a worse fascism than the Shah was. And then you ended up now with a 30-plus year of theocratic fascism that's the greatest threat in the Middle East, which is Ahmadinejad. And I think you see some of the same things happening with the facilitation of the Brotherhood and others. And so many Muslims on the ground want to see Americans defend us, defend the reformers, the liberals. But we're not doing that. We're basically helping their oppressors. And then you wonder why we have such bad opinion ratings on the ground in the Middle East. That was such a crisp and clear summation in contrast to virtually everything I have heard from the White House. Zuhdi Jasser, thanks very much for summing it up. Appreciate that. Thanks, Tucker. Appreciate it.